Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage. This is their part number 11-088. This is a relatively less common, not unheard of, but just a less common latch bolt used in the Schlage AL series, maybe other series, maybe the A series as well. We'll look. This is an 11-088. That means a number of things. It means that it is a 2 3/8 back set. So the distance from the edge of the door to the center of the hole where the lock would be installed would be 2 3/8. It also means that it is, back to that, nowhere on here will you measure 2 3/8. Okay, that's because this latch bolt is for a cylindrical lock that will hook into the edge of the chassis. The distance from here to here is the 2 3/8. If my hand here represents the hole in the door. So, you know, if you're measuring this item, you're like, well, yeah, I need one of those latch bolts that are 1.5 inches long. Well, there is no 1.5 inches long in Schlage, but realizing probably what you're measuring, we'd be able to help you determine it's 2 3/8. Also means it's 2 1/4 tall. That's very standard. Means it's 1 inch wide. Less common in commercial locks, but nonetheless. Also means that it's a 1/4 inch radius. Also means it's deadlocking. There's a deadlocking tab that's here. That when that is depressed, meaning when the latch bolt is, when the door is in the closed and latched position, this will be retained back by the strike plate, and you won't be able to Lloyd, tamper with, or Lloyd, L-O-I-D, Lloyd the latch bolt. When it's not installed correctly, you can easily push that in, but when it's installed correctly, you won't be able to tamper, Lloyd that latch. Okay, it means all those things. Screws are included. A couple of 832 wood metal combination screws, flat undercut head, and that this is in the 626 finish, which means satin chrome. Actually, what it means is that it is a brass base material and a satin chrome finish. Peel away protective film. On that latch bolt, you're going to see it says Schlage in the upper right-hand corner, lower left-hand corner. It'll say UL. We'll have a couple of letters stamped on there. F, uppercase and lowercase f. It says UL and ULC there as well, so that's listed. Now, what do the F stampings mean? You can't even see it with your eye, but you can barely, you know what? I was imagining that. I thought it looked like a lowercase f. It's actually not there. Well, regardless, you will see latch bolts that have an uppercase and a lowercase f, letter F. That means that it has been tested under a particular type of test criteria. The lowercase f would be what we call neutral pressure, the standard by which fire doors were tested for several decades. You'll see that on older latch bolts. The capital letter F is tested under the criteria of positive pressure, the modern way to test fire doors, because testing at the plane of the door, about midway or so, is a more accurate reflection of what actually happens in a actual fire. So now they're testing the hardware more accurately compared to what a fire actually does. A capital letter F is good for positive or neutral pressure, but if you require a positive pressure, if you have a positive pressure assembly, you'll need to be sure that you've got a capital letter F on your latch bolt, that's for sure. Let's switch to the screen view now and let's take a closer look at the supporting documentation. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. We have some photographs linked to down below here. There's the latch shown with its screw package, the latch alone, side view. And by the way, the base material of the latch bolt itself is a non-ferrous base material that is a self-lubricating metal. And that's going to be an alloy of, copper, zinc, tin. I don't know what exactly is in this alloy of material, making it, I wouldn't outright call it brass or bronze, but it's some alloy of material. Self-lubricating simply means that it is more conducive when metal parts slide against each other, which is, of course, the job of a latch bolt. So if you ever thought to yourself, I wonder why that feels a little slippery, from what I understand, it actually, at a micro level, oozes out a lubricating property. I'm, as you can tell, not an expert, but that's the general gist as I understand it. This is what would connect, of course, to your chassis. The UL label, that's there. If you're putting this onto a fire-rated door, you'll not only need the, well, you'll need the indication on the latch bolt itself, but there's the label on the tube of the latch assembly. Okay. UL rated latch tubes must be paired with appropriate UL marked faceplate. There you go. 9NA3. Customers will call and say, hey, I need a 9NA3. Where did you get that part number? Well, it's by the UL label. Well, that's just the listing or record locator at UL. If UL was contacted and asked to review record 9NA3, it would come back to Schlage, etc., etc. Okay. Screw package right there. Combination screws, machine and wood. That means that this will work in either a wood or a steel frame, is what all of that means. Okay. Now let's take a look at the extended description. 2 3/8, round corner. It's a dead latch, satin chrome, 2 1/4 by 1 inch. Let's look at the other options when it comes to this latch. Let's copy that latch bolt and then open up the manufacturer's page, which is right here. Let's pull up the catalog, which happens to be here. Let that document load. And then once it loads, we'll do a find function on our keyboard for 11-088. Let that index the document. Came up with 3 matches. So it comes up in the H series, and I'm quite sure the H series is discontinued. I'm quite positive of it, which was an interconnected lock. Then it shows up here in the A series, which is a grade 2 cylindrical series of locks by Schlage that is several decades old. Knobs is what you'll see. Then the third match will be in the AL series, which is the grade 2 cylindrical lever locks. From this table, you'll be able to see all of the options available. Here's our 11088 here. Now, one really important thing to be mindful of is this dimension here, the 1/2 inch. If you're putting this onto a fire door, certainly inspect what the label on the door states in terms of min or minimum latch throw. If you're using this in a pair of doors, that's probably going to be 3/4 inch. And you're going to need a different, not only a different latch bolt, but a different lock series as well. There is not a 3/4 latch available in a Schlage grade 2 cylindrical. Okay, you go to a grade 1. The ND series will have, well, actually, let's look. I know that a latch bolt part number in the ND series is the 14047. And let's see. Here we go. So the 14047 dead latch they have a 3/4 latch throw for pairs of fire doors. So if you have a pair of fire doors, it's probably going to be 3/4 inch min latch throw. And as you can tell, I'm struggling to find the part number for this. It must just be G506-815. Let's search our document for oh, that's the sleeve only. 14-047. Oh, here it is. Forgive me. 14042. It's right here. 2 3/4 back set, 3/4 inch latch throw. Right there. So if you needed a 3/4 inch latch throw, there you go. Let's go back to our 11088 table. So what we have here is this column is dead latch and spring latch. Dead latches are used not exclusively, but almost exclusively on keyed locks, something that you want guarded, that you don't want tampered. I do have a client that works for the only contractor who manufactures nuclear subs for the U.S. Navy, and they always use guarded or deadlocking latch bolts on their non-keyed functions. I can't explain why they do that, except that it will certainly prevent lloyding of latch bolts on a privacy function. So if you are, I imagine, let's say it's a private area, a sleeping quarters, and there's a privacy there. You can put the guarded latch on there to prevent someone from tampering with that and getting in. Could be it. Might have something to do with the application and the door staying more securely locked in the event of an emergency, I suppose. So dead latch and spring latch. Then you have your 2 3/8, your 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 5-inch back sets. Okay. You have square corner, radius corner. Then you have what we call drive-in latches. You drill a 1-inch hole with a mallet and a block of wood. You carefully pound that into the edge of the door, and you're in good shape. The difference is you're not mortising for the faceplate on these drive-in latches. But this is the table that will allow you to look at all latch bolts, in this case for the Schlage AL series. Also on that manufacturer's page, since we're here, you'll be able to review not only all of the Schlage products that we sell by this horizontal navigation here, but a link to the manufacturer's website, which is here, but also, again, that product catalog, but also several encyclopedic documents, such as the Master Template Index, the Service Manual, Cylinders and Key Blanks Quick Reference Guide. There's going to be their warranty, wiring diagrams, templates. Over here we have the Primus Service Manual. We have the Everest Service Manual. We have an L-Series Service Manual from 1992. We have up over here archival documents, the 1959 Schlage Service Manual, that's here. For wafer locks, 1972 catalog, 1982 catalog, etc., etc. Okay. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, in conclusion, typical item from Schlage, although it's a less common because it's radius corner, deadlocking, and 2 3/8. The name Schlage is synonymous with a comprehensive offering of commercial hardware, most definitely, which is what we deal in mostly, but their line of residential hardware, which is in peripheral orbit to what we work on, is an extremely deep universe as well. Sticking with the celestial terms, I suppose. I'm partial to Schlage. It's certainly because I'm most familiar with the part numbers. I can navigate the catalog faster than I can Schlage's competition, just because I end up using Schlage more often than other manufacturers. But objectively, they have exceptional technical support. Every single time I contact the factory, I get a prompt, thorough, complete, and accurate answer, and that's what's required. Their catalog, their price list catalog, especially the price list, is extremely comprehensive. They have stuck in that catalog, I think, most options that they've ever been asked to talk about. For instance, I had a client ask me for last week a lock with a 21-inch back set, since we're talking about back set. And all other manufacturers, that's you got to quote the factory. I spoke to one major manufacturer since the mid-19th century, much older than Schlage, but Schlage will be 100 years old next year, I believe, in 2021. They couldn't do a 21-inch back set. They could only do a 19-inch back set. I said to the client, will 19-inch work? No, it won't. I need it to be exactly in the center of the door. Great. Reached out to Schlage to ask if they could do it, and my tech support rep there said, yeah, sure, here's the code that you use. I went back to the price list. It's listed right there. I think back sets up to 42-inch is what they can do. So their catalog is pretty enjoyable because that data is there. I didn't think that it would be, but it was. Any questions on the 11-088 and the 626 finish or any other Schlage product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.